Okay, today we are playing a game on the Horizon Lunar Colony. The average SR of this game was 2,286, and we will be playing Reinhardt on attack and D.Va on defense, just to fuck with everyone's expectations, basically. And our current team composition is Reinhardt, Reaper, Genji, Bastion, Mercy, and Zenyatta. So, we'd rather not have a Bastion while we're attacking on Horizon, but I mean, people will do what people are gonna do. And at the end of the day, team comp ends up not mattering very much because it turns out most people don't know how to play their hero anyway. So, team comp would theoretically matter if everyone was playing a hero that they could play. But the problem is, most people like to play DPS heroes, so it's sort of a race to see who picks Genji and Hanzo first, and then everyone else just kind of has to pick whatever. So you end up with the Genji main that's playing Winston, and he's got no fucking clue how to do it. And you've got the McCree main who's trying to play Ana, and he's got no clue how to do it. And then that's why team comp ends up not mattering very much. Overwatch, I think, would be improved drastically if when you queued for competitive, you could pick a role, support, tank, or DPS, but Blizzard have said that they're probably not going to do that because they don't want to enforce a meta or anything like that, even though the game has been balanced in such a way that not any team comp really does work. Like, 2-2-2 is the most consistent lineup, but whatever. If Riot Games are any indication, in about 8 years' time, they'll cave and notice the meta hasn't actually changed over almost a decade, and then they'll put the role selection in. But we have to wait a long time. Anyway, so, that's my opinion on why Overwatch is a terrible game that I've played for about 2,000 hours, but whatever. So in the accompanying email, it says, "It is the first time I've played Reinhardt in a long time, and I have no doubt I have lost most of, if not all of my Reinhardt instincts, so alongside general play advice, what are some things I should look to get comfortable feeling again, e.g. instinctively knowing Roadhog's right-click range or when to leap out as Winston?" That's an excellent question. If I ever play Reinhardt again, I'll get back to you on that one. In all seriousness, though, it's probably just Fire Strike's travel time, how long it takes your shield to regen, and the pin hitbox, because that's not the same as the charge hitbox. I just find it so frustrating to play Reinhardt these days that I basically haven't, and I did used to play Roadhog, but Roadhog's still currently in a ditch by the side of the road. But on the bright side, he only has one broken leg now instead of two broken legs, so he's got that going for him, which is nice. That's all I can really think of, because I would also say, like, when the other Reinhardt's gonna Earth Shatter, and, like, feeling that out, but it's so rare to have to do that anymore, to actually have to play against another Reinhardt, that basically doesn't really happen anymore. Between, like, my team being super mobile people that are not going to stand behind my team, and the enemy team being super mobile people that are just going to be diving past me, I just find it really frustrating to play Reinhardt, so basically all I've been doing the last month or so at this point is playing Zarya and Orisa and McCree. Out of all of those people, the only person I really want to play is McCree, so might just be time for me to learn how to play Tracer, because if I'm going to have to learn how to play a completely different hero at this point, might as well be someone I want to play, right? I don't anticipate it getting any better either, because D.Va's about to get her defense matrix nerf, which means she's going to be way worse against Pharah, because currently D.Va's one of the more consistent heroes to pick against Pharah, and Mercy is about to be probably insane. So I anticipate there's going to be a lot of pharmacy, which means Reinhardt's going to have an even sadder time dealing with that, because of course he can't do anything to pharmacy. So it's probably not going to get any better anytime soon. Maybe if pharmacy is everywhere, that encourages Blizzard to buff McCree or Soldier, which would incentivize more of, like, the grinder comps of old, where it's just, like, 2-hit scans standing behind Reinhardt's shield, and then maybe that day will come, but I don't anticipate that being anytime soon, because, of course, as we all know, Blizzard only balances their game once every 3 months, so that's why Overwatch is a terrible game that I've played for thousands of hours. So, let's start the game on a really positive note, and after rambling for about, like 7 minutes, good job. Alright, so, we're going to go out the right side here. I find it is generally easier to go around the left-hand side because, I mean, good luck getting your team to do this because most people just come this way around at this point. I find it's better to come this way because then you can, like, start going around this side, which is slightly easier to attack from in my experience because you can go in there and, like, it's harder for the enemy team to, like, collapse on you from that side and then you can just, like, poke across at each other from the sides. But, in my experience, anyway. But good luck getting your team to do that, because most people at this point just go... And I mean, the enemy team is usually something like Symmetra and Torbjorn, so if they don't play it well, they just get rolled over anyway. So we're coming around this way, and as we see, they have a Symmetra. They also have a Mei, which is very inconvenient. We have a Bastion, that's of course still very inconvenient, and we're trying to get over this way. Try to get your team to just, like, go through the room with you instead, rather than trekking all around the side, because you're just exposed for longer than if you go through the little room right around the corner. Similar vein to, going left on, or right, rather, on Anubis. You want to just, like, duck into the room, and then keep going around the side, rather than just going wide around the side, because you're exposed for longer. So we've already lost our Zenyatta, so that's, of course, a great start. Now we still have Mercy, but now Mercy's dead as well. So now we've lost both of our supports, so we're pretty much fucked on this push unless they're gonna get back really quickly. Bastion's standing in a really awkward position because when you're shielding for a Bastion, you want to stand on the right side of him because, if you stand on the left side, you're blocking his view with your hammer, but he's standing right next to a wall, so that's rather difficult for us to do from that position. So, this is of course going really well. Like, we shouldn't really even be up here anymore. Like, really, after you see both your supports die, the play is pretty much turn around and just charge back over here and get out of the way. So that you can wait for your team to actually be back again, because when both of your supports are dead, there's like no way that push works anymore, and you're better off just backing out to try and wait for your team to regroup. Unless the enemy team are also missing both of their supports, and then maybe it works out, but I find that's rather rare for both teams to lose their supports right at the start. So everybody's kind of like spreading out at this point, and like, this is the point where I'm like, alright, I'm just gonna change off of Reinhardt, because like, everybody's just fucking everywhere at this point. I might as well just pick Zarya so that I can at least bubble them from across the arena, but... Because, if no one's standing behind your shield, there's not really much point playing Reinhardt. We aren't really going with our team right now, because as we can see, everybody's on the left-hand side of the map, and we're trying to go around the right-hand side of the map. Conventional wisdom is that they should follow you, but seeing as they're all going that way around, you have to follow them instead. Now we're over here, and now we're gonna be really sad. We actually don't die. But we're not long for this world. Because, well... Blizzard is a pretty strong ultimate, fittingly enough, seeing as the owner of this game is Blizzard, and, well, the developers of the game are Blizzard, and also the owners of the game. I don't know why I felt like this needless... whatever, this has gone off the rails. Forget it. It's been a long day. So we've almost got Earth Shatter, that's cool. It's taken us a very, very long time to build up this Earth Shatter. It's been almost 3 minutes, so... We've been doing a really bad job at charging that up. Like, we should have probably had, like, 2 Earth Shatters in this time, realistically. Though at the same time, we also haven't gotten to see the enemy team that frequently. We pushed the wrong button right there. We were saying it out loud. Didn't mean to push that button, you know. At least there was something right in the way, so you don't kill yourself doing it. So, we almost have the Earth Shatter. It's almost there. It is worth the wait. It ends up being pretty good Earth Shatter. We try to Fire Strike, D.Va just eats it. That also makes it really sad. That might make Reinhardt a little bit better. There won't just always be a D.Va there to eat your fucking Earth Shatter anymore, which is a really depressing part about playing Reinhardt these days. So we have committed a faux pas, and we've let our shield break, which meant we weren't able to put it up in front of that bomb, which is of course very sad. But, we earth-shattered their entire team, charge over, killed Mercy with the charge, pinned the Symmetra instead. And, great. This is the reason we get this point, because we do actually capture this point. Torbjorn, of course, playing traditional Torbjorn play of just sitting there trying to build his turret. Yeah, the only reason we get this point at all is because we earth-shattered their entire team. And we killed their Mercy as well, in the middle of it. That's another important part of it, so they couldn't res afterwards. Great. I would have just changed off of Reinhardt by this point, because it felt like we never really had anyone with us to defend, so we might as well just pick somebody better, like D.Va in that situation, like D.Va, Zarya, you know, the usual ones. So Winston's going in like 10 miles ahead of everybody else, which is not great. It's always really sad when there's a Symmetra turret that we can't break as Reinhardt, so you have to wait for somebody else to break it. Feels good. She actually survived the pin, which was really awkward because of the shield generator, but just a bonk finished her off. And we've almost got another Earth Shatter built up again, because it'd mean it charges really quickly. And they're still playing Torbjorn and Symmetra, but they haven't had time to set up again, and Symmetra lost her shield generator. So basically we get to just snowball onto this second point, because we capture this point as well. We've charged way too far away. We did have to charge to get out of the blizzard, but we ended up going too far away, and attack visor was happening at the same time, so we didn't get to block it. Fortunately, like, oh yeah, Anna nearly fucked it right there by shooting her, but we got her in the end anyway. Yep, just might as well, honestly. But unfortunately we don't... Well, okay, so not might as well, actually, because even if we get her off of the point with that one, because our pin is on cooldown right now, because we just pinned Tracer, there's not actually any way we break her mech quickly enough, so no, not might as well, honestly. We should have saved it, because our pin was on cooldown. If our pin was off cooldown, then yeah, because then we pin the D.Va, break her mech. Easy peasy, but we can't do that without our pin. So our team's back, though. Transcendence is happening. He almost left us behind. Scoop the ultimate away. They just never managed to recover from our initial push in, so we end up getting to take... It took a while, because we're playing on a 2CP map, of course, but, like, we got that point basically when we arrived. We just had to go through the ceremony of getting everybody off the point. But they had Symmetra and Torbjorn, but they didn't have the freedom to actually build their defenses up, so... Basically just a snowball that was slightly delayed. Like, we hit a bump in the road, but then eventually we tumbled over it and kept going. So now we're gonna play D.Va after some deliberation. I think for, like, everything that happened, we basically played more or less as well as we could with Reinhardt, with the exception of, like, the things mentioned, like, you know, the Earth Shatter at the end, going right when everyone else was going left and all that. Staying in and dying instead of just leaving. We're gonna get there late because we were deliberating, I think, but we get there in time, don't worry. I would have just changed to a different hero, because it just didn't really feel like the Reinhardt pick really did anything. It felt like we could have just picked a different hero and had a bigger impact, honestly. Which is the sad world that we live in these days, where Reinhardt, it's like hard to justify picking Reinhardt over other heroes. Isn't it what a strange world we've come to. So we hung out up there for too long, and almost lost our mech, and that would be really bad to lose right now, because we are our only team's tank right now. So we really don't want to lose our mech, but we didn't lose our mech in the end. We got 7 hit points right now, so that's pretty spooky, and we of course lose our mech right now. And then Reaper just shoots us. Actually, Mercy shot us, not Reaper, I lied to you. We just hung out upstairs too long, and then, like, the fight came to us before we were really ready to continue the fight, so we just needed to, like, leave off of there sooner. And there was also not really any reason for us to be up there, because it's not like we were blocking for anyone, and we weren't really doing anything, seeing as everyone was miles away from us. Just not really much reason to be up there. So, it doesn't matter, though. They didn't push in, because they're bad, basically. Great equalizer. The enemy team can always be worse than your team. Soldier, rather difficult to fight as D.Va, but we end up not having to really deal with it. Genji's used Dragon Blade, and he got the Mercy. She tried to escape into the vacuum of space, but, you know, the Alien movies have taught me that that doesn't usually go super well, so she ended up dying anyway, and we didn't really have to do very much of anything in that push, because Genji had Dragon Blade, and he killed people with it. And attacking is that way, where when you lose 1 or 2 people, you can't really attack anymore. And that's what ends up leading to like the situations where it feels like you never see your team. It's just like somebody dies, but the enemy the team doesn't know. They have to just back out and wait to regroup. So it's just a situation where people are trying to fight down numbers, and then just to never really regroup. You're constantly fighting like 5v6 or 4v6, and you just never quite get to group up again. So Torbjorn's using Molten Core right now, because for some reason he doesn't have an allied voice line for when he uses Molten Core. So we just find him one day. Genji already has Dragon Blade again, so Genji's killing it right now. Didn't have enough defense matrix to eat the tack visor, but he just died on the turret anyway. And then our tack visor killed a bunch of people. So we didn't really have to do anything because our team just had a bunch of ultimates again. Overwatch is kind of that way, really. Now we have Self-Destruct, which is of course not a fantastic ultimate, but the enemy team at this point, you know, they might just all kill themselves on Self-Destruct. You never know. You never know what these feel like. Soldiers has died all the fuck way over there, so his team's probably really happy about that one. They do eventually get it together, because, I mean, if we look at the timeline, we got some game left to go yet. Genji is now dead, and they're gonna reinforce faster than our team because Symmetra lost her teleporter, so this is not a great start for us. And we get Earth Shattered. We aren't playing Reinhardt, and we only have an Orisa who can actually block that, so there's not much we can do about that one. We use our ultimate. Oh, fuck, the other ultimate's coming in.
You guys can stall.
Basically, like, they're coming in with a lot of ultimates right now. We couldn't block Earth Shatter because we're playing D.Va. And, yeah, we didn't have enough ultimates to fend them off with, basically, because they came in with, like, all of them. And Mercy died really early on, probably because of the Earth Shatter. Not much you can do about that one, other than suddenly transform into a hero that has a shield that can block Earth Shatter. Because that's what set it up, basically. Funnily enough, like, what got us through the first point? An Earth Shatter that hit the entire team. What got them through the first point? An Earth Shatter that hit the entire team. Funny that, isn't it? Earth Shatter's still a really good ultimate, as it turns out. It's just really hard to land it on people when they're all super mobile. So their Reinhardt's dead right now, which is going to make it really difficult for them to just straight snowball in. Just, like, go into there and heal faster, because we saw Mercy had her ultimate. We don't need to let her charge it up. We could have just gone in there and regen sooner to get out here and start fighting again. But, because they lost their Reinhardt, it was really hard for them to continue their snowball, and then Genji had Dragon Blade, so he killed a bunch of people that were coming in. It all ends up working out. And we didn't really have to do anything again. It's funny how the ultimate ult economy tends to carry you through certain engages like that. They came in the first point with Earth Shatter and a bunch of other ultimates, and we didn't have any to fend them off with, and the ones we did died really early. Oh, funny that. So, we've almost got Self-Destruct again. We're 2/3 of the way there right now, which I mean is cool, you know. It's another mech, basically, more than anything else. Enemy team is on the point behind us right now, so, like, we should have been coming back here to fight over on the point sooner, rather than just playing with the D.Va the entire time. But they're, like, really fucking up. Like, they're using a lot of ultimates right now. Like, they use Tack Visor as well right at the start. And, like, they've come in here with a lot of ultimates, but they have managed to fail on the execution of it. So, even though they came in using more ultimates, like, now they're gonna get rezzed as well. But they've already used all of their ultimates by this point, so they don't get to just, like, swing around on the tempo. Reaper had his ultimate, but we're playing D.Va, so that doesn't matter. We eat that up real good. Genji's got Dragon Blade again. Genji's killing it this game. He's used his Dragon Blade a lot of times. They're trying. They don't do it. They don't, like, they even Earth Shatter a second time in the same fight, but they don't manage to pull it off. That's how badly executed this fight is on their end. So, and now they're just staggering in. Like, this Reaper, he should have just died. He's gonna just stagger his death even more. So now, unlike this dude, they just stagger their deaths. And now, Lucio risks getting picked off, but we don't have anything that we can't kill him, and we don't have anything that can really kill him that quickly, so he doesn't get punished for it. But, like, think about it, right? They used basically every ultimate on their team, and Reinhardt ulted twice in the same fight. Mercy got a 4-man res, and they didn't get the point. Like, at that, they fucked up that one really bad somewhere down the line. We did see somebody was on the point, but we could see the entire team in front of us. So we didn't really need to come back here to deal with it, because, I mean, hopefully your team can deal with one person on the point. And it was May, so it took a while. We've lost our mech at 90% HP, which is really unfortunate, especially since that happens right there. It wasn't a scary enough fight where we had to stay on the point and, lose our mech like that. We could have just backed out and healed up by, either waiting to get healed or going into the spawn and coming back out again. Because they weren't, winning the fight they weren't really winning the fight, so we could have just backed out rather than staying out there at such low HP. But it ended up not mattering, because, I mean, it was a very badly coordinated engage, and we ended up just, killing them. This is happening, right? Like, look at this Mercy. She's trying her heart out, God bless, but... unfortunately, we both use our ultimate right as their D.Va uses their ultimate, so that means we get to die, unfortunately. We use them at both basically the same time, so, I mean, it's gonna happen. Fortunately, some of our team's still alive. Oh, we see this happening to Bastion. I mean, we help him as much as we can, but, what can we really do against the Primal Rage Winston as D.Va? Not too terribly much. Now, we are on 2 CP, and we have a bunch of stalling heroes on our team because somebody has changed to May, and we're playing D.Va, so... This is honestly not the end of the world. They won't get the time extension even if they capture this, so we're playing from a position where we can't lose anymore anyway. But... by this point, they don't have any ultimates, and they just, have to stay on the point at all costs, and they're just kind of, getting killed, basically. So the moral of this game's story is that ultimates are really strong, and ult execution is a really big part of the game. Because why did both teams capture the first point? Both teams, Reinhardt's landed an Earthshatter against the entire team, and killed the Mercy right at the start of the engage. And then why did the other team not get the second point when they had, 8 ultimates that they tried to fight with? Because they didn't execute their ultimates correctly. Ults are a big part of Overwatch, as it turns out. Who would have guessed? So this is one of those games where we didn't really have to do very much to win, with the exception of the Earthshatter that we landed in the first round. Aside from that, it kind of felt like, yeah, we didn't really have to do very much to win the rest of the game, because, honestly, Genji carried this game. Genji was killing it. He used his Dragon Blade, every minute. It was insane. It felt like, we landed the Earthshatter, so we get to say we won the game, because otherwise we would have probably lost right there. But outside of that, we didn't really have to do very much to win. Because a combination of the enemy team being bad and Genji being pretty good, actually. Against this team, it was pretty hard to play Genji against as well, if you think about it. Turns out Dragon Blade is really good, and if you use it a lot of times during a game, 7 Dragon Blades is a lot of Dragon Blades, actually, when you think about how long it takes to charge that ultimate, usually. Genji, he's killing it, actually. So, and that's a lot of healing as well. So, not too terribly much stands out overarching-wise, just like the things that we talked about as they came up, basically. So thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. If you felt I didn't answer your question from the email adequately, please let me know, and I'll try to expand further. And I hope you found the video helpful.